Everyone, and welcome back to our Battlefield 4 Second Assault live stream powered by AMD. I'm Alex Mendez, joined now by Dave Kittner, who is actually the lead lighter for Second Assault, which is pretty cool because you get to handle a lot of the artistic directions of it. And now, before we get into that, I actually did get a question from the Twitch chat, and I'm going to go ahead and bust it out here on my phone like I did at Gamescom and E3. It was from Stony X1, who actually asked, can you extinguish grass fires?
No, you cannot.
You cannot?
That's correct.
Okay, so there you go.
You can start as many as you want, though.
You can start as many fires as you want, but you cannot extinguish them because they'll just die out eventually.
They will die out.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's also very good to know. So now, of course, we're going to be taking questions from you guys out there in the chat and all the other social media. So make sure you're letting us know what kind of questions you want answered. And on top of that, make sure you stick around because at the end of this show, we're going to have an exclusive Second Assault trailer that will be airing exclusively here first. It's a big deal. Awesome. So I'm really excited about that. But okay, let's talk about you. Let's talk about lead lighter Dave Kittner. What is up there? What do you do exactly? What is your day-to-day like? And go ahead and explain as we jump into the action.
Sure. So what I do, my responsibilities are to take all the awesome artwork that our environment artists do and add the mood and the atmospherics to the world. Okay. So if we need it to be like super stormy and very rainy, or like in Gulf of Oman, we're gonna have like a sunny day followed by a levolution event, which is very stormy. That's my responsibility. So setting the player in the mood and in this world to make it believable.
Okay, and then of course, just so you guys are aware, we're actually taking a look at Oman Rush. So that's to arm the bombs, which actually seems like the A-bomb site has been armed. So let's see if the defenders are going to be able to do anything about that. But yeah, so lead lighter now, Gulf of Oman. This map in particular is very interesting because there you could see in the shot a sandstorm's brewing, and that's coming in, and that's it looks very ominous and very, very evil. So I guess tell us a little bit about this levolution event, because this is a dynamic levolution. This isn't something that's player driven.
That's correct. It's not player driven. So when you start the game, the sandstorms in the background is just growing. Okay. All right. So when we start the game, it's sunshine. You can still have great player visibility. You're running around, and dynamically after a certain amount of time, the sandstorm will start growing and moving in towards shore. Okay. And after a while, it's going to hit you, just punch you right in the face. It's going to limit visibility, limit spotting. It's going to limit the visibility for air vehicles and just give you that chaotic and different kind of environment to play in.
Now, I know that as a person who loves art and just wants to make everything look amazing, especially with Frostbite 3, looking so awesome as it is, how difficult must have been for you to kind of scale yourself back and be like, yeah, I want to make something. I want to make this look like the greatest thing in the world, but yet it could affect the players a little bit. I guess what were some of the challenges there?
Yeah, that was the biggest challenge, because when you're doing something like a massive sandstorm, obviously you look at reference first, and you have all this incredible reference from African sandstorms, and I mean, visibility is just nothing. But you have to also take into consideration gameplay. So I'm there and I'm pushing the limits as much as I can because Frostbite allows that, and it's looking really, very, very intense. But then you have, we'll have playthroughs, or we'll have, or I'll go to a designer and ask, what's your take on this? And he was like, whoa, you gotta back it up a little bit. We still need to play this game. Otherwise, I'd go full bore.
Yeah, you'll make it so that no one can see anything.
You'd be running around in circles shooting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess with that said, though, all the other levolution moments that are involved in and how that affects the game itself. I mean, that's something that really caught my eye when I first found out about this at E3. I really did enjoy the fact that there were these triggered events that would not just it wasn't just there. It wasn't something to make it look pretty. It actually had an effect on the map, and it really just changed it up and made it fresh and unique. So I guess with that said, when you're looking to implement those new features, like for example, we talked about the sandstorm here, but even as we'll see a little bit later in Operation Firestorm with the oil slicks, that that element where it just like fire just bursts out of nowhere and it builds up immediately, right? You obviously have to look at that from an artistic standpoint and be like, all right, I want the player to feel the dramatic impact of this right away. Sure. And how has that, I guess, impacted your view on how to make those moments that much better?
There's a lot of different elements that go into it. As an artist, like you said, you're trying to you're trying to improve the player experience, but also make them feel something when they're, if you're real close to that fire, you want them to feel that heat. You want to alter the environment in some way and make them feel like, all right, I gotta stay away from this stuff, or use it against their enemy. And with the Sandstorm, for instance, I mean, that's one of the things we really want to do is make this whole gameplay a different experience. So you're going to be going from this, bright, sunshiny day, like I said before, to this contrast storm, and it's just a completely different play style.
Yeah, and you had to really just put it in there so that, not necessarily so that gamers can look at it and be like, okay, now I know I have to play different, I have to react different to every situation. And also, I just wanted to point this out real quick, just because we were talking about it earlier, and it's funny. So those the tall grass, I just got to bring this back again. That actually can be lit by the engineer tool, the repair tool. Yeah. That is hilarious. Yeah. I just think that is so. You're just going to go up to someone, you see him like in the grass, you're like, yeah, I'm going to mess your day up, and then you just, instead of like roasting him with the repair tool, you roast the grass around him, and he's like, what happened?
It's a little more embarrassing to him too, also, right?
I know, right? That's insane. So now we're actually starting to see the sandstorm make its way through. A lot of debris falling all over the place, which is something I've noticed here, and that can be a little, I guess, distracting to the player in a sense where, with the sandstorm moving in, you're like, okay, now you have to be paying attention that much more.
Sure.
I guess with Frostbite 3. Did you feel like you had that creative freedom to be able to put that the debris flowing through there easily without not having any issues?
Absolutely. I mean, and we wanted to create that sense of chaos, right? So we wanted to have all this debris and paper that you normally find in the city brought up by this sandstorm. And not only does it bring up all this paper and the leaves from the trees, you can see it's blowing the trees and making them shake in the wind, but the sandstorm is also affecting things like lights inside the building. So it's making them swing and just making this whole world just a lot more dynamic to the player.
Yeah, and there's a couple other levolution moments in this particular map in Gulf of Oman. I believe the crane here that you actually see Landis near, that actually falls down, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And so is that player driven?
Or is that just started, so the wind will actually start shaking it, and then the player could actually hit the counterbalances.
Ooh, that's very nice.
So you can see it shaking right now.
Okay.
And here it goes, it's going to collapse.
Yeah, so there you can see the crane actually fall. That's actually a great shot, by the way. Just thought to point that out. That is pretty. That also is important to point out too, right? These elements, it's a good mix, right? It's not necessarily like, oh yeah, it's all player driven. Like how are you gonna queue up a sandstorm?
Right,
what I mean? Like, I'm gonna push this button and the sandstorm appears. Like, it just doesn't work like that. And I guess what we're, in your opinion, just that challenge of saying like, okay, we want to make sure that this moment here, that's player driven, but then the other parts, they're dynamic as soon as the map starts. And not get too carried away with like, all right, we're gonna have everything be dynamic, right?
Right. So I mean, it's a little bit opposite of Metro, right? So Metro is a lot more player-driven levolution events, while this is a good combination of two. Because what else, having a great weather effect is just a really cool gameplay aspect.
Yeah, of course.
It's a lot more fun to play in.
Yeah, I mean, it's it just creates that tension. So it seems like these guys are actually going to be. The game time actually will end in about 4 minutes here, and they're at rush stage 2 of 3 right now. So this is the pressure is definitely going to be on the defenders to make something happen. So is there any other cool changes that have been made to Gulf of Oman in regards to like the specific game types, like how rush plays, and all that stuff?
So actually, we have a new landing at the beach. So we try to do like a little bit of a Normandy style. So this whole, the theme of the whole pack is to be a couple years after the war. Okay. So actually, on the beach landing, when you're coming from the Wasp or from the carrier, you're going to have all these burned out and busted up vehicles. So we wanted to present this kind of Normandy, effect afterwards. So you're rushing up the beach towards the actual city.
Just so the players know, what stage does that happen at? What stage?
That's actually consistent through the from the beginning.
Yep.
So it's after the war. We have all these messed up vehicles, and this is the remnants of all this fighting that's been going on.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So it's important to just highlight like how you guys are trying to just implement different things into it, yet at the same time, but again, make it fresh, because while Second Assault, these are maps that have been released before. It is important to to highlight that these are fresh experiences. This is not what, this isn't like merely, oh, we reskinned it to make it look futuristic, or we reskinned it to make it look like some Wild West map. No, like this is it's just dynamic, and everything in there, it's really unique. So I guess for you, what were you going to say?
I want to comment. Yeah, we also want to give that player, a different experience from the original map. We want to give them the same gameplay and all the great features that it offers, but just giving them a little different aspect of it and different kind of either different lighting and different elements of the actual map.
And I guess my question to you is, which was your favorite map? What was your favorite map to work on in Second Assault for lighting?
It has to be Oman.
Oman,
it was just
sure?
because it was just the biggest challenge. I mean, it's not every day you get to make a sandstorm.
Yeah, of course.
And so when we came up with the idea, I'm just thinking, oh man, all right, this is going to be incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
But also it was an incredibly huge challenge. But our artists were up to the task and they did an awesome job, and we all just made it come together. And I think it's going to be a really, really, really cool fan favorite.
And how is that like decided, right? Do you guys just all sit in a room and just like, okay, so we're doing Gulf of Oman again. What do we want to do? Giant sandstorm sounds good. Yeah, let's make that. Is that how it works?
No.
No. Okay. So I'm completely out.
No. It does a little bit. I mean, but as your previous guest was Ben, he's the lead designer. So we'd all get around the round table and try to do a little think tank, and we have to make this levolution or this event realistic.
Yeah.
So we can't just have like a tornado rip through here or anything like that. So we want to have some sort of.
Cool.
It would be awesome. I'm not really sure if they exist in the Middle East though.
I don't think so. But just do it anyway.
That's
right?
true. Yeah, it's always an option, and that is our option. But we also want to, we thought it'd be really, really awesome to just have this massive sandstorm just rip through this area, because they do exist, and we haven't seen a lot of them.
Yeah, and I guess
or enough of them.
Or enough of them, which is more important, right? So it seems like right now we're at Rush Stage 3 of 3 now, and seeing what these guys are going to be doing, probably hoping to make their way over and trying to attack.
So that's a really cool view where it limits the spotting ability of snipers.
No.
Nice, done.
Oh man, just got poor sniper. So how long does the sandstorm last for?
It lasts approximately, I believe, 8 minutes.
8 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so after that, it's going to die down to like a post-storm kind of feel. So there will be some remnants of like wind going through and still some dust, ripping across the sand and leaves in the air. But it's not going to be as it's not going to limit visibility as it is now.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So
so we want almost like 3 states. So we want like a calm, major storm, and then after the storm.
Okay. So there's different stages to it to give the player that feeling, give the player that experience, and I think that is also a great thing to note with how you guys have designed this, because again it kind of boils down to like a unique experience, because that game the game could end during the sandstorm, or it could maybe even feasibly, which I don't know if that would be possible, for it to end before this, or like maybe at the start of it, or right before the storm hits, or something.
They're extremely
like that.
good,
If they're extremely good and just destroy the other team, but you also get that post-disaster feeling too, which
and we also want to take that into consideration. So we didn't want to have the player playing through a sandstorm the whole game, because it get a little numbing after a while. So you want to have these kind of different stages and make it just a better experience overall.
Yeah. And I'm taking a look here at the defensive side now, as they're trying to make sure no one's creeping up on their bases, and they want to make sure that they can probably dwindle down their tickets. Actually, they only have 16 tickets remaining, 15, 14 now. They're just losing tickets left and right. This is not good for this team, for the attacking team by any means, actually. And Vatos Locos, just gotta give this guy a shout out, because he's yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so we won't talk about that much longer, but that is an awesome name. So,
banana pancakes.
Yeah, but banana pancakes, like you can't go wrong with banana pancakes either. That is a great name. I mean, we all can't have cool names like legendary. Like that's just, we all can't be that guy. Right, it's earned, right? It's not you're banana pancakes until you become legendary. So I guess in closing out with all this, we only have like 1 ticket remaining here for this team, but besides Gulf of Oman, anything in particular that you did and you're just like, you know, I'm really proud of how we implemented that. Like for example, Metro with the lighting and
Yeah.
and how you took away the hue, the bluish hue in the last one, and made it look a little bit, you know, different and a fresher feel.
Yeah, we wanted to go a little bit more natural with it, you know, and just make it give it what the fans wanted.
Yeah.
Also, I'm really proud of Caspian. Caspian turned out to be an amazing
Caspian's
map.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
yeah.
fall feeling, setting. I mean, that's also going to be a real fan favorite.
Yeah,
Just looks
I
beautiful to me.
just love how the tower, you know, then just kind of like sparks up, right? We
Nice.
had a chance to see it
Great.
at the BF4 showdown in London, and the tower just sparked up, and I was just like, oh my god, that is like so cool,
Yeah,
like such
it's
a
awesome.
great visual feel.
We're really proud of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Dave, thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
your
having me.
time. I appreciate it so much, guys. Well, we have much more to come. Make sure you guys stay tuned, though, because again, at the end of the show, we have an exclusive launch trailer of Second Assault. Hasn't been seen yet. Your eyes will be the first one to check that out. And then, of course, we have more awesome Second Assault content to check out. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.